Welcome to the Sauna Pod. I'm Ryan Alsberg, and this is episode 2. Today, we are diving into the topic of rebellion, the refusal to accept conformity. We'll explore why breaking free from a conventional path is crucial to discovering who you truly are and creating a life that aligns with your deepest desires. Let's get into it. First thing I want to do is say grace. I'm grateful. Grateful for the opportunity to speak, grateful for the freedom to make my own decisions, and grateful to be alive. For whatever that means, I truly don't know, but I am thankful for it every single day. Introduction. Unlock your potential and break free. Are you tired of feeling stuck? Unsure of how to move forward or where to even begin? What if the only thing standing between you and the life you truly want is a shift in perspective and the courage to take action? This guide will show you how to break free from stagnation, confront your fears, and cultivate the mindset needed to chase your passions and shape your future. Why is this valuable? Because the life you dream of is within reach. By embracing these principles, you'll gain the tools to overcome self-doubt, transform your mindset, and take bold steps toward lasting change. Why should you listen? Because you are ready for more. More fulfillment, more purpose, and more freedom. If you are willing to challenge yourself, step out of your comfort zone, and put in the work, this guide will help you unlock the potential that's always been within you. Let's dive in. Part 1. Rebellion against stagnation. Theophrastus, who lived from 371 to 287 before Common Era, is often remembered for his groundbreaking work in botany and philosophy. But beyond his contributions to science, his life offers us a profound lesson on growth and change. Theophrastus didn't settle for mediocrity or stagnation. He didn't simply sit back and let life pass him by. Instead, he observed, studied, and pushed forward in areas where most people would have stopped. He took Aristotle's teachings to new heights, creating something entirely original, all while maintaining a relentless drive for deeper understanding. Whether he was exploring the natural world or human nature, Theophrastus rebelled against the intellectual stagnation of his time by challenging the status quo and always seeking to improve. The message here is simple. Stagnation is poison. Whether you're stuck in a comfortable job that doesn't challenge you, coasting through life, or living without purpose, you're slowly dying inside. But real growth comes when you rebel against that comfort. Like Theophrastus, you need to push beyond surface level understanding and ask deeper questions. You need to challenge yourself in every area of your life, whether that's learning, physical growth, or developing new skills. When you stop growing, you start stagnating. And as what Theophrastus would likely say, stagnation is where progress goes to die. Rebel against it. Just as Theophrastus didn't accept things as they were, neither should you. There's always more to learn, more to discover, and more ways to evolve. That's how you truly live. Grow or be left behind. Life is short. What are you going to do with your time? This question should haunt you. I feel a deep, burning fire inside when I'm not making progress. Stagnation is like poison to the soul. It makes everything feel dull, stagnant, and empty. It's as if time itself starts to lose its vibrancy, fading into gray as each moment slips away unnoticed. Time is the most valuable thing a man can spend. Quote unquote. Theophrastus. We don't have time to waste. Every second counts. How will you use your time? Because, make no mistake, life does go by quickly. Blink and you might miss it. When we stand still, it's like we are letting the river of life rush past us, never stopping to look at the shore. But if you are not growing, you are dying. the only true waste of time is inaction. The only true waste of time is when you're not living with purpose, when you're not actively challenging yourself, expanding your mind, or pushing your boundaries. The days and months pass by faster than we realize. We can't get them back. Every wasted minute is a piece of your potential slipping away unnoticed, like sand falling through your fingers. For me, it's about making a difference. Every day, I challenge myself to fail, to embarrass myself, to put myself in situations where I don't know how things will turn out. I don't care about judgment. It's about showing up and doing the work, even when it's hard. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. It happens when you rebel against stagnation, when you decide that standing still is not an option. It's like planting seeds in a dry desert and refusing to leave until the soil has absorbed enough water to grow a forest. You might not see immediate results, but if you keep watering the soil, pushing forward, refusing to let the dryness define you, something beautiful will eventually bloom. A historical rebellion. Nathaniel Bacon's stand against stagnation. Before George Washington led the American colonies to revolution, there were others who dared to challenge the status quo. One such figure was Nathaniel Bacon, a man whose actions in 1676 sparked Bacon's rebellion, long before the seeds of the American Revolution had fully taken root. Bacon was a young man in colonial Virginia, a time and place defined by stark inequality. The wealth and power were concentrated in the hands of a few colonial elites, including Governor William Berkeley, while the rest of the population, including poor farmers and indentured servants, were left to struggle. For Bacon, the tipping point came when the government refused to provide protection for frontier farmers facing violent raids from Native American tribes. Frustrated by the neglect of the elite and angered by the injustice of it all, Bacon decided to take matters into his own hands. He gathered an army of farmers, indentured servants, and freedmen, marching not only against the Native American tribes on the frontier but also against a colonial government that had failed them. This wasn't just a rebellion against raids. It was a rejection of the stagnant social and political system that kept the poor in a cycle of exploitation and limited opportunity. Bacon understood that when those in power refuse to change, the people must rise up, even if it means risking everything. Though Bacon's rebellion was ultimately crushed, its impact was profound. It revealed the deep divisions in colonial society, the growing frustration of the disenfranchised, and the desire for a more equitable system. More importantly, Bacon's actions showed that rebellion isn't just about reacting to a specific grievance. It's about challenging a larger system of inequality that stifles progress and opportunity. Bacon's rebellion was a vivid demonstration of humanity's universal desire for change, a refusal to accept a stagnant, unjust status quo. But what is perhaps even more remarkable is that the spirit of defiance didn't belong to the elite or the powerful. It belonged to the everyday person, the farmer, the servant, the laborer, who could no longer accept a life dictated by inequality. It was a call to action from those at the bottom, demanding a future where they too had the opportunity to grow and thrive. Bacon's rebellion is not just a historical anecdote. It's a reflection of the internal struggle we all face. Like Bacon, we must refuse to accept complacency in our own lives. We must rise up, not against a colonial government, but against internal systems that keep us stagnant. Whether it's a fear of failure, a lack of ambition, or a comfort with the status quo, we must challenge ourselves to break free. We must recognize the forces, both external and internal, that hold us back, and refuse to be held hostage by them any longer. So ask yourself, how are you challenging yourself today? Every day is an opportunity to climb higher, to stretch yourself further, to push past the barriers that keep you from realizing your true potential. Every challenge you face is a chance to grow, to rebel against stagnation and step into a life of greater meaning and fulfillment. With every challenge you take on, you are chiseling away at the stone of your potential, shaping yourself into something far greater than you were yesterday. What's next? This is just the beginning. The road to personal growth, transformation, and purpose isn't easy, but it's the only path worth taking. Don't wait for the world to change. Start the rebellion within yourself. Rebel against mediocrity, against stagnation, and against the limits you've accepted. Grow or be left behind. The choice is yours. Part 2. Tackling fear of failure head on. Fear of failure, the killer of dreams. Fear of failure is the number one killer of dreams. It's something we've all experienced at one point or another. The fear of being judged, the fear of not measuring up, the fear of looking stupid in front of others. This fear holds us back from taking risks, from stepping out of our comfort zones, and ultimately from pursuing our true potential. But here's the truth. Failure is not your enemy. Fear is. Fear is the thing that paralyzes you, that convinces you that you're not good enough or that you're not capable of success. Fear is the invisible force that keeps you playing it safe, keeping you small. It tells you that failure is final, and it's a reflection of your worth, when in reality, it's just part of the process. The real tragedy isn't failing, it's letting that fear of failure stop you from trying in the first place. As Winston Churchill famously said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." The truth is, failing isn't the worst thing that can happen to you. The worst thing is not trying at all. Failure isn't a reflection of your failure as a person, but rather, it's feedback. It's the universe's way of telling you, you're on the right path. Now, go back, refine your approach, and try again. Failure doesn't define you. Your ability to keep going despite it does. Think about it. Every time you fail, you're actually learning something new. Failure is a teacher. It provides you with information that success can never give you. It's through failure that we learn to adjust our approach, fine-tune our skills, and grow stronger. If you're not failing, you're not growing. If you never stumble, you are probably not pushing yourself far enough. But this fear of failure, it's what holds so many people back from trying at all. It convinces them that it's better to stay safe, to remain comfortable, and to avoid taking risks. But that's the trap. That's how dreams get suffocated. Scientific insight. Research by Carol Dweck on the concept of growth mindset has shown that individuals who see failure as a part of the learning process, as opposed to a final verdict, tend to perform better in life. People with a growth mindset believe that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. In contrast, those with a fixed mindset see failure as a reflection of their capabilities, something that defines them as inadequate. Embracing failure as a necessary step in the learning process, seeing it as feedback rather than a judgment, can radically change your trajectory. When you stop fearing failure and start seeing it as a natural part of the path to success, your whole approach to life changes. So ask yourself, how many opportunities have you missed because you were too afraid to fail? How many dreams have you put on hold because the idea of not measuring up was too overwhelming? The key is to not let fear control your actions. Recognize that failure isn't an end, it's a lesson. It's the fuel for your growth. Part 3. Gratitude. The shift that changes everything. It took me a long time to understand the power of gratitude. For years, I was caught up in the cycle of wanting more. I was caught up in the cycle of always wanting more, focused on what I didn't have, on the next thing I needed to achieve, and on the gaps I perceived in my life. I couldn't see the blessings around me because I was too fixated on what I was missing. It wasn't until I made the decision to shift my mindset, to actively practice gratitude every single day, that I began to feel a real shift in my life. Gratitude has the power to change everything. It can transform your outlook, your relationships, and even your sense of fulfillment. We get so caught up in the grind of our daily routines, waking up, going to work, running through the motions, that we forget to pause and appreciate the life we have. We become numb to the blessings right in front of us. You might be living somebody else's dream life. You have privileges and opportunities that others may never experience. How many times do we overlook the simple joys, the health in our bodies, the love from our families, the opportunities we have to learn and grow. Gratitude brings clarity and peace of mind. It helps us realize that what we have is already enough. And when we recognize that, it shifts our entire perspective on life. Instead of focusing on what's missing, we begin to embrace what's already there. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Melody Beatty. Take a moment to reflect. Maybe you're not exactly where you want to be yet, but you are better off than you were yesterday. Progress is progress. Practice gratitude for the things you often overlook: the warmth of a bed to sleep in, the ability to learn, the people who love and support you. When you begin to see the abundance in your life, you'll find that your worries shrink and your sense of contentment grows. In fact, there's powerful science behind this shift. Research has shown that gratitude can significantly boost your mental and emotional well-being. The Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley found that regularly practicing gratitude can increase happiness and decrease feelings of depression. One study showed that people who kept a gratitude journal experienced a 25% increase in their overall well-being, while other research demonstrated that those who practiced gratitude reported better sleep and less anxiety. These findings highlight how a simple daily practice can change your brain chemistry, making you more resilient to stress and more attuned to the positive aspects of your life. When you begin to focus on what you have rather than what you don't, the benefits reach far beyond just feeling better in the moment. It can help rewire your brain for lasting happiness and fulfillment. Gratitude doesn't mean you stop striving for more. It simply means that in the midst of the pursuit, you can find peace and joy in what you already have. It's a reminder that life, right now, is precious. Part 4. Breaking yourself into pieces. The practice of breaking yourself into pieces might sound a bit strange at first, but it's a powerful tool for personal growth. It's about understanding your own strengths, talents, and quirks, not in a boastful or egotistical way, but in a way that helps you communicate your value to the world. When you know what you are good at, you are better equipped to show others how you can contribute, whether it's in your personal life, career, or community. Imagine trying to sell a product without knowing its features or benefits. That's how most people approach their own value. They move through life without truly understanding what sets them apart, and as a result, they don't know how to present themselves in a way that maximizes their potential. This is why it's so important to break yourself down into pieces, your skills, passions, and unique qualities, and get to know them intimately. When you understand yourself in this way, you don't just stumble through life waiting for opportunities. You actively create opportunities that align with your strengths. It might feel awkward at first, like you're tooting your own horn, but it's not about arrogance. It's about clarity. Think of it like preparing for a job interview or a networking event. You don't need to be a brash salesperson, but you do need a clear pitch. So here's an example of how you might introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Ryan. I've been lifting weights for years and have developed a deep knowledge of physical health. I'm also a student of languages and love to practice chess daily. I'm passionate about helping others achieve their potential. In that short pitch, Ryan isn't bragging. He's simply breaking himself down into his key pieces: his knowledge of fitness, his linguistic interests, and his commitment to self-improvement. Each of these pieces says something important about his character and skill set. And here's the thing. When you know these pieces of yourself, you're more confident, more self-aware, and better prepared to navigate your challenges. In fact, breaking yourself into pieces doesn't just help you in professional settings. It can also make a tough day feel more manageable. If you know that you are a great problem solver, a supportive friend, and someone who can make people laugh, then when life gets tough, you can lean on these strengths. You'll have the confidence to face adversity because you understand what you bring to the table. Every strength you recognize within yourself is like a tool in your toolbox, ready to be used when needed. It's a powerful exercise in self-awareness. You need to know what you're good at, what your strengths are, and how to communicate them. Because if you don't, how can anyone else recognize your value? You don't have to be arrogant about it, but it's important to have a clear understanding of what makes you you. This is where knowing your pieces, your skills, strengths, and talents becomes crucial. Take Grandma Betty, for example. Now, you might think she's just an adorable sweet lady who bakes too many cookies and complains about her knees. But let me break it down for you. Grandma Betty is a powerhouse, a true polymath in the kitchen, the family, and the world at large. Let's take a look at her pieces, and I'll show you what I mean. 1. The baking genius. Hi, I'm Betty. I bake the best blueberry muffins on the block. You should try them, but don't expect them to last long. Now, you might think baking muffins is a simple skill, but let's dig deeper. Betty has mastered the precise measurements of flour, sugar, butter, and eggs, creating a perfect balance between moistness and fluffiness that takes years of practice to perfect. Her baking isn't just about following a recipe. It's about understanding the chemistry of baking, the way ingredients react with heat and time. She knows the difference between using room temperature eggs versus cold ones, and how the rising agent in the batter interacts with different flours. Betty's muffins are more than just a treat. They are a result of deep culinary understanding and scientific precision. Think about it. This isn't just baking, it's engineering with food. Her knowledge of ratios, proportions, and timing could easily translate into fields like project management, architecture, or even entrepreneurship, where precision and consistency are key to success. She doesn't just throw things together and hope for the best. She knows exactly how every ingredient works in harmony. Now, if Betty can apply this kind of attention to detail in baking, imagine what she could do with complex problem solving in business or technology. 2. The flavor scientist. Next up, Betty's ability to distinguish flavors is next level. You think it's impressive when she can tell you the secret ingredient in her stew? Try asking her to break down the subtle differences between fresh thyme, oregano, and marjoram. Betty could teach a class on flavor profiles without even breaking a sweat. She knows exactly what each spice brings to the table, how basil can bring brightness, how cumin adds depth, and how a dash of cinnamon can elevate a savory dish. She's mastered the art of balancing flavors in ways most of us never even notice. This is a skill that goes far beyond the kitchen. Betty's ability to identify and combine complex flavors is similar to an expert sommelier or a seasoned art curator. She's developed an eye and a palate for nuance, and that's something that can be applied to nearly any field that requires sharp discernment and creativity. Whether it's pairing the perfect wine with a meal, creating a compelling business strategy, or curating the right set of visuals for a marketing campaign. Betty's approach to flavor could easily be translated into high-level decision-making and innovation. 3. The time management pro. Let's talk about Betty's ability to whip up a 5-course meal for 15 people, all while making sure everyone is seated at the table on time. Betty's true genius lies in her time management skills. She can have dinner ready to go in no time, all while making sure the potatoes aren't overcooked, the chicken stays juicy, and the dessert stays fresh. She has an innate understanding of how to prioritize tasks, coordinate multiple processes, and juggle different activities, all at once. This is a skill you'd find in top-tier project managers and CEOs. Betty's cooking is the epitome of multitasking efficiency. She knows what needs to be done first, what can wait, and how to adjust on the fly if something goes wrong. That's not just a skill, it's experience, honed through years of getting it wrong, learning from it, getting better every time. Imagine applying this kind of strategic thinking to your daily life. Breaking down tasks in manageable steps, prioritizing your time, and keeping everything running smoothly even when things aren't going as planned. Betty has mastered this in the kitchen, and you can apply the same principle to managing any aspect of your life. 4. The empathy guru. And then there's the other side of Grandma Betty, the listener, the unofficial therapist. Betty has an uncanny ability to make everyone around her feel heard. She's the first person people go to when they're going through something tough. Her wisdom isn't just about what's in the cookbook. It's about knowing how to make people feel safe, valued, and understood. Her ability to read a room, notice someone's discomfort, and offer the right advice is an emotional intelligence that's hard to find. This is a skill that can be applied to leadership, mentoring, and conflict resolution. In the workplace, in friendships, and even in family dynamics, the ability to offer empathy and guidance is invaluable. Betty's ability to build trust and make people feel cared for makes her not just a great cook, but a pillar of her community. The power of empathy and connection is one of the most sought-after leadership skills in the world today, and Betty has it in spades. 5. The adaptability expert. Finally, there's Betty's ability to adapt on the fly, whether it's running out of eggs halfway through a recipe or finding out that her neighbor has dietary restrictions at the last minute. Betty knows how to think on her feet. She might have a backup plan, but most of the time, she just knows how to improvise, because after years of experience, she's learned that things don't always go according to plan. This adaptability is something we all need, whether we're running a business, managing a team, or handling personal challenges. The ability to stay calm, pivot when necessary, and still come out with a positive outcome is a key trait of successful people in any field. Betty's ability to navigate the unexpected without flinching or losing her cool is one of the most important skills she's mastered, and it's one you can cultivate too. So, let's wrap it up. What Betty's pieces show us is that you don't have to be a corporate CEO or tech genius to possess valuable, transferable skills. Grandma Betty's culinary expertise, time management, empathy, and adaptability aren't just skills for baking. They are skills for life. They are life lessons we can all learn no matter where we are or what we do. You can break yourself down into pieces, whether it's in baking, in business, or in your personal relationships. You realize that your strengths are more interconnected and valuable than you ever imagined. So, what are your pieces? And how can you use them to live a more fulfilling, impactful life? Just like Betty doesn't underestimate her ability to bake, you shouldn't underestimate your own potential. You are capable of far more than you might think, so start breaking down your strengths, identify your pieces, and start building the life you want. Part 5. Wanting more. There's nothing wrong with settling down and enjoying the simpler pleasures of life. In fact, some of the most rewarding moments come from quiet afternoons spent with family or sitting on your porch, soaking in the beauty of nature. But here's the question. Why do you keep busy? What's your reason for waking up every morning, brushing your teeth, and facing the day? What's driving you forward? We all need a reason to push forward. Something that lights a fire inside us. A purpose that keeps us moving, even when it feels like the world is trying to slow us down. Having an ego isn't necessarily a bad thing either. In fact, it can be crucial. You see, your ego, the desire to make something of yourself, to stand out, to leave your mark on the world, can be a powerful motivator. It's not about arrogance. It's about having the audacity to believe that you have something valuable to offer. And when you start to understand that you deserve to succeed, that's when you will truly begin to push yourself. Ego, in its healthiest form, is simply a reflection of self-respect and belief in your potential. Goal setting is the first step, but then comes chasing. The pursuit of something bigger than yourself. This is where the real magic happens. The process of chasing your goals, the effort, the hustle, the struggle, becomes the ultimate source of satisfaction. It's easy to get excited about the end result, the destination. Who doesn't want to be the person who reaches the summit after a long climb? But the truth is, the pursuit is often more fulfilling than the achievement itself. The journey is where you learn the most about yourself. It's in the struggle where character is built. As the great Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." It's a cliche, but it's true. The first step is often the hardest, but it's also the most important. Once you start, everything begins to move. You start to see momentum. The beauty isn't in arriving at the top, it's in the climb. Each day that you wake up and chase your goals is a day that brings you closer to your potential. But this isn't about chasing some distant, perfect future where all your dreams are magically realized. The chase is about who you become along the way, the person you grow into as you pursue something meaningful. It's the resilience you build through setbacks, the wisdom you gain through struggle, and the strength you discover in yourself that you didn't know was there. The chase is the proving ground for your character, your patience, your ability to stay the course even when things get tough. When you've got a goal, you've got a reason to wake up every day. Not just any reason, but a reason that compels you to move forward, no matter how challenging the path may seem. Think about it. Without something to chase, life can feel like a series of monotonous tasks. Wake up, go to work, go home, sleep, repeat. It becomes easy to get stuck in that loop, to forget the power of striving for something more, something beyond the everyday grind. But when you know what you are working toward, when you've set a goal and committed to the chase, every day becomes an opportunity to make progress. Wanting more is not about being dissatisfied with what you have. It's about realizing that there's always room to grow. Life's challenges may seem overwhelming at times, but with each new goal you pursue, you stretch the limits of what you thought was possible. You might fall short, you might stumble, but every step you take toward that goal teaches you something valuable about yourself, about your strengths, and about your ability to overcome obstacles. The most important thing, though, is that you never stop wanting more. The moment you stop striving, you start stagnating. So keep the desire for growth alive and let that hunger for more be the thing that propels you forward. Whether it's in your career, your relationships, your personal growth, or your creative passions, the chase never ends. It's about the constant pursuit of becoming more than you were yesterday. Think about it this way. Even when you achieve something, there's always another level, another peak to climb. There's always a new goal to set, a new direction to move in. That's the beauty of life. It's never static. There's always more to learn, more to experience, more to achieve. So, go ahead. Set your sights higher. Chase something bigger. Keep that fire alive, because that's the energy that will make every day feel purposeful. Part 6. What really is there to do? Chasing passion. Life is often painted as this grand, peaceful journey. We are told that happiness comes from relaxation, from slowing down, from soaking in the simplicity of existence. And in some ways, that's true. Life can be simple, it can be calm. Once you've done all the things, gone to all the places, and experienced all the worldly pleasures, what's left? What do you do when the novelty fades? When the excitement of a new car, a new house, or a new adventure wears off? What's left to hold on to? Passion. That's what's left. Passion is the fuel that drives us when everything else starts to feel, well, meh. It's what makes life meaningful. It's not just about following every fleeting whim that pops into your head. It's about finding something that deeply excites and challenges you. Something that pulls you out of bed in the morning. Something that gets your heart racing. Something that lights a fire in your soul. Look at the people who are truly fulfilled. What do they have in common? They've all found something they're passionate about. Whether it's building a business, creating art, solving problems, helping others, or simply mastering a skill, passion is the common thread. They don't need external validation. They don't need flashy rewards because the journey itself, the chase of something they love, is enough. In a world full of distractions, where people are constantly seeking the next big thing or the next big thrill, the most content and fulfilled are the ones who know what they care about, who know what excites them, and who pursue that passion relentlessly. It's easy to get lost in the noise of the world. There's always something new to try, some new experience to chase, a new trend to follow, social media, TV shows, vacations, and endless entertainment. They all present themselves as answers to the question, what's next? But here's the hard truth. Those are just distractions. They are short-lived, momentary pleasures that don't fill you up in the long run. They might provide a temporary sense of satisfaction, but when the buzz fades, you are left with the same feeling of emptiness. You are left wondering, is this all there is? That's where passion comes in. Passion is everything. It's the thing that holds you steady when the world feels chaotic. It's what keeps you focused, driven, and moving forward, even when everything else falls away. Passion isn't a fleeting emotion. It's a constant force that carries you through the ups and downs of life. It's what gets you through tough days, because when you're working towards something you truly care about, even the grind feels worth it. Think about things you've done in your life that have made you feel truly alive. Was it when you were on a beach somewhere, sipping cocktails? Or was it when you were immersed in something that challenged you, that forced you to grow, that made you lose track of time because you were so completely engrossed in it? For most of us, the moments we feel most alive are the ones where we are fully invested in something we're passionate about, whether it's creating something, helping someone, or mastering a skill. Those moments give us a sense of purpose, a reason to keep going. Finding your passion is not always easy. It takes time, it takes introspection, and it takes the courage to explore different paths. Sometimes it requires you to be uncomfortable, to step outside the things that come easily or naturally. Passion is not always an obvious thing. It's something that you discover through trial and error. But once you find it, it's like finding the missing piece of the puzzle that makes everything else fall into place. And it's not about having just one passion. Passion can evolve. You might start by loving one thing, but as you grow, your passions can change, and that's okay. The key is to keep chasing those things that excite you, that make you feel alive, that make you feel engaged with life. It's not about passively waiting for life to fulfill you. It's about actively pursuing what makes you feel connected to something greater than yourself. When you chase passion, life doesn't become a series of empty distractions. You stop seeking external validation and start finding fulfillment in the pursuit itself. You begin to realize that life is not just about getting to a destination, but about the experiences, growth, and fulfillment you find along the way. And those things, true passion, true purpose, are far more meaningful than any material possession or fleeting pleasure the world can offer. So ask yourself, what's your passion? What is it that excites you, challenges you, and makes you feel alive? If you haven't found it yet, that's okay. But never stop looking. Keep chasing, keep exploring, and keep discovering what makes your heart beat faster. Because in the end, it's not about what you've done or where you've been. It's about the passion you've pursued and how it's shaped you along the way. That's what will make life worth living. Part 7. Controlling your future, being wary of distractions. You are the captain of your ship. Every decision you make is a rudder that steers you either closer to your goals or further away from them. Your actions, big and small, determine your course. The weapon that will keep you on track is impulse control. It's the ability to pause, reflect, and choose your response instead of reacting mindlessly. Impulse control gives you power over your own destiny. It helps you stay focused when distractions try to pull you in 100 different directions. But there's something even darker at play, something that runs deeper than just distractions or mindless impulses. Evil, yes. I believe there is a force of evil in the world, and not just in some abstract philosophical sense, talking about the devil. Not necessarily as a red-faced horned figure, but as a very real supernatural being whose influence is everywhere. The devil doesn't always appear as some obvious, menacing creature. He doesn't need to. His greatest trick is how he hides in plain sight, camouflaged in the everyday distractions and temptations that pull at us all. In the everyday distractions and temptations that pull at us all. The devil works subtly. He doesn't want you to see him. He just wants you to be distracted, disoriented, and lost. He whispers in your ear through the noise, the media, the consumer-driven culture, the endless cycle of desires that never seem to be satisfied. The devil shows up in your life through fleeting pleasures, promising satisfaction but delivering emptiness. He shows up in the temptation to take the easy route, to sacrifice long-term goals for instant gratification. He works through bad influences, those who tell you that success is about appearances, that fulfillment comes from accumulating things, that self-worth is based on status and validation. This isn't some harmless wishful thinking. It's a battle for your soul, and the devil has no interest in playing fair. The most insidious part of his strategy is that he's not always obvious. The devil doesn't need to appear as a creature with red skin and a tail. He hides within the structures we live in, the ideologies we follow, and the habits we fall into. He tempts you with comfort, with ease, with the lure of the quick fix, but none of it satisfies the deeper hunger inside of you. It's all empty promises, distractions that derail you from your true purpose. The devil's power is not in force, but in influence. He doesn't come at you with horns and fire, but with whispers in your ear, small compromises, and distractions that pile up one after the other. He operates through society's temptations, the addiction to technology, the pursuit of materialism, the obsession with status and validation. It's all part of his plan to keep you distracted and disengaged from the work that matters most, the work of becoming who you are truly meant to be. When you are facing hardship, when you are in a moment of weakness, that's when his influence is at its strongest. He will offer you easy ways out, ways that look appealing in the short term but lead you further from your goals. The devil's voice becomes louder when you are at your most vulnerable, tempting you to quit, to settle for less, to believe the lie that you will never be good enough. But here's the key. The devil's power only works when you let it. It's your decision that shapes your path. You are in control. The more you recognize these distractions for what they are, temptations designed to steer you off course, the stronger you become. Saying no to the devil's subtle tactics is the greatest act of defiance you can make. Every time you resist the urge to be distracted, every time you stay focused on your mission, you strike a blow against the forces trying to pull you off course. Your future is determined by the choices you make today. While the devil may be lurking, waiting for the moment you slip, you hold the power to reject his influence. Focus on what matters. Keep your eyes on your goals. And know that every time you push forward, every time you say no to the distractions, you are taking back control of your life. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Edmund Burke. This quote hits deep because it reminds us that inaction is often what enables evil to thrive. The worst thing you can do in the face of these distractions is nothing. When you give in to your impulses or let the negativity of the world dictate your actions, you are essentially allowing evil to gain ground. The battle isn't always an epic confrontation. It's often won or lost in the small, everyday choices. That's where your true power lies. The best defense against this kind of evil is not always fighting against it head on. Sometimes the best defense is simply to say no. Saying no is your superpower, It's a shield against the distractions that pull at you and the temptations that try to steer you off course. Stay vigilant. Stay focused. Don't speak into existence the negativity that others are trying to drag you into. When you let gossip, judgment, or fear take root in your mind, you are giving power to the very things that will derail you. But when you say no, you're taking back your power. When you stay on course, despite all the noise, you're taking control of your future. The concept of good and evil, though deeply rooted in many religious traditions, carries striking similarities across belief systems. And understanding these frameworks can further sharpen your ability to resist temptation and distractions. Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism, while distinct in their doctrines, all recognize the essential struggle between the forces that seek to lead us astray and those that guide us toward righteousness. In Christianity, good and evil are defined by the will of God. Evil is seen as a force that works against God's divine plan. It manifests as temptation, sin, and the devil's work, leading people to stray from righteousness. The Christian understanding of evil is closely tied to the concept of free will. Humans have the choice to choose between good and evil. The devil, as the ultimate tempter, is seen as the one who deceives, distracts, and lures people away from God's will. The battle, in this case, is not just between right and wrong, but between God's will and the forces that seek to divert us from it. Resisting evil in Christianity is about saying no to temptation and following God's commandments, living according to His truth. This is where the strength of impulse control becomes crucial. Resisting instant gratification in favor of a higher, more lasting good. In Islam, the concept of good and evil is tied to submission to the will of Allah. Good is acting in accordance with Allah's commands, while evil arises from disobedience to His will, often through the whisperings of Satan. Islam teaches that every human being has the capacity for good, but we are constantly tested by external temptations. The Quran warns that distractions and temptations like materialism, arrogance, and self-interest are among the greatest threats to our spiritual well-being. Satan actively works to lead people astray. The battle is about maintaining faith and resisting temptation. In Islam, much like Christianity, it's about control over one's impulses, choosing the eternal over the fleeting, resisting the pull of worldly desires in favor of spiritual growth and righteousness. Hinduism takes a more nuanced view of good and evil, rooted in the concepts of dharma, righteousness, and adharma, unrighteousness. Evil is seen as a force that disrupts the natural order and pulls individuals away from their true self or ultimate goal. Moksha, liberation. Good is aligning yourself with dharma, which could be your duty in life or your pursuit of knowledge and self-realization. The evil in the world, according to Hindu philosophy, is not merely a moral failing but a state of ignorance, avidya, that keeps you trapped in cycles of desire, suffering, and reincarnation. Overcoming distractions, temptations, and the ego is the path to spiritual liberation. Hindu teachings stress that true strength comes not just from controlling external forces, but from overcoming the distractions and illusions that exist within your own mind. In this sense, the fight against evil is internal, against the distractions of the material world and the pull of the ego. Each tradition, though culturally and doctrinally distinct, points to the same truth: to live a meaningful life, to fulfill your true potential, and to overcome the distractions and temptations of the world. You must choose your path with vigilance. Your journey is not just about resisting what is clearly wrong, but about actively choosing what is right, even when the right choice is difficult or goes against the grain. In every choice, you're either aligning yourself with your purpose or falling prey to the distractions that seek to lead you astray. The power of control, mastering impulsivity, limiting distractions, and shaping your future. You are the captain of your own ship. Every decision you make, is a rudder that steers you either closer to your goals or further away from them. The path to a successful, fulfilling life isn't dictated by fate, it's determined by choices you make every day. Every action, big and small, carries the potential to either strengthen or weaken your resolve. The key to keeping yourself on track, to moving closer to the life you want, lies in controlling your impulses and limiting distractions. Impulse control isn't just a tool for making better choices, it's the cornerstone of building the future you envision. Impulse control, at its core, is the ability to pause, reflect, and choose your response thoughtfully, rather than reacting mindlessly. It's about training your brain to avoid automatic, often emotional, responses and instead make decisions that align with your long-term goals. This practice gives you the power to stay on course when distractions pull at you from all directions. Without it, you risk allowing the noise of daily life, social media, the latest trends, trivial worries to derail you from what matters most. The ability to control your impulses is a superpower that can shape your future. The hidden cost of distraction. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. We live in an age of constant stimuli. Notifications pinging on your phone, the endless scroll of social media, the pull of entertainment, and the temptation to indulge in quick, mindless pleasures. Each of these distractions chips away at your focus, leading you further away from your true goals. It's easy to get lost in the noise, to allow the endless stream of distractions to dictate your actions. But what you may not realize is the hidden cost of these distractions on your productivity, your relationships, and your mental clarity. Scientifically, it's been shown that multitasking, trying to juggle multiple tasks at once, actually impairs your cognitive abilities and makes you less effective at everything you do. According to a study by the American Psychological Association, the average person can only focus on one thing at a time. Attempting to multitask depletes your cognitive resources, leaving you with less mental energy to devote to the task at hand. In fact, research shows that when we switch tasks frequently, we experience a mental lag that makes it harder to retain information, make decisions, and process new material effectively. In short, distractions make you less effective. The science of focus, what you can do to improve. If you want to improve your focus, control your impulses, and take control of your future, you need to actively train your brain. Fortunately, there are scientifically proven strategies that can help you do this. Number 1, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, paying attention to your thoughts, emotions, and surroundings without judgment. Research has shown that regular mindfulness practice can help improve focus, reduce impulsivity, and even boost memory retention. A study published in Psychological Science found that people who practiced mindfulness showed increased activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain associated with decision-making, impulse control, and focus. Simply taking a few minutes each day to center yourself and bring your attention back to the present moment can make a big difference in your ability to stay focused throughout the day. 2, prioritize tasks and break them down. One of the biggest challenges we face in maintaining focus is feeling overwhelmed by the sheer volume of tasks on our plate. When everything feels urgent, it's easy to get distracted or procrastinate. The solution? Prioritize. According to research by Dr. David Rock, focusing on one task at a time and breaking large tasks into smaller, manageable chunks activates your brain's reward system, making it easier to stay engaged. When you complete a small part of a larger goal, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, which motivates you to continue. This not only helps you stay focused, but it also improves memory retention as your brain associates the task with positive reinforcement. 3. Exercise regularly. Physical activity isn't just good for your body, it's also incredibly beneficial for your brain. A study by the University of Illinois found that exercise can improve cognitive function, increase attention span, and reduce impulsivity. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, leading to the growth of new neurons in areas related to learning and memory. The more you move your body, the better your brain works. Even just 20 minutes of moderate exercise a day can make a big difference in your ability to stay focused and improve memory retention. So, if you are finding it hard to stay on task, consider taking a walk, going for a run, or doing some light stretching. 4. Set boundaries for distractions. To limit distractions, you need to create an environment that supports focus. This can mean putting your phone on silent, blocking out time in your schedule for deep work, or setting up a designated workspace free from interruptions. A study from the University of California found that it can take as long as 23 minutes to regain full focus after being distracted. This means that every time you check your phone, answer an email, or get sidetracked by something trivial, you are wasting valuable time and mental energy. By setting clear boundaries, both physically and mentally, you can protect your focus and stay on task. 5. Use the 2-minute rule. The 2-minute rule is a productivity hack that helps overcome procrastination and improve focus. It works like this. If a task will take 2 minutes or less, do it immediately. This simple technique helps you avoid the mental clutter of small tasks piling up. By taking care of small tasks right away, you free up your cognitive resources for bigger, more important tasks. This technique, while simple, has been shown to reduce mental overload and keep you moving forward in your work. 6. Sleep and rest. It might seem counterintuitive, but the more you rest, the more productive you become. Sleep is critical for focus, memory retention, and decision making. According to a study published in Nature Neuroscience, sleep helps consolidate memories and improve your ability to focus and retain information. Lack of sleep, on the other hand, impairs cognitive function and leads to poor decision making and impulsivity. A consistent sleep routine combined with a strategic rest throughout the day can significantly improve your ability to focus and resist distractions. The consequences of ignoring focus. If you continue to let distractions dominate your life and fail to develop self-control, the consequences can be profound. Increased stress, lower productivity, mental fatigue, and even chronic dissatisfaction can result from poor impulse control and a lack of focus. When you are constantly distracted, your brain has to work overtime to process all the incoming information, leaving little energy for creative thinking, problem solving, or the meaningful engagement with the world around you. Over time, this mental clutter can make it harder to retain important information, lead to burnout, and cause you to lose sight of your long-term goals. On a deeper level, failing to limit distractions and control your impulses mean failing to live with intention. If you allow yourself to get lost in the immediate, fleeting pleasures of social media, consumerism, or unnecessary distractions, you lose sight of the bigger picture. What's at stake is your future. What's at stake is your future. Your ability to build the life you want, the relationships you want, and the personal growth you desire. The more you let the distractions rule you, the harder it becomes to create a life of meaning, clarity, and purpose. Building a life of focus. To control your future, you must first learn to control your impulses. You must learn to resist the temptations that pull you off course, limit the distractions that deplete your energy, and build habits that foster clarity and focus. This isn't about being perfect. It's about making consistent choices to align with your true purpose. The more you practice focus, discipline, and impulse control, the more you create a life of intentionality. Your future is determined by the choices you make today. Every time you choose focus over distraction, clarity over noise, you are shaping the life you are meant to live. You are building a future grounded in purpose, resilience, and self-mastery. Conclusion. Breaking free to embrace the future you desire. Throughout this journey, we've explored how to overcome the obstacles that hold us back from reaching our full potential, from the quiet rebellion against stagnation to the courage required to face our fears. Each step is crucial in the process of transforming your life. We've learned that gratitude is not just a practice, but a shift in perspective that opens doors to new possibilities. By breaking ourselves into pieces, by acknowledging our flaws, desires, and vulnerabilities, we make space for growth, clarity, and true self-expression. We've also discussed the importance of wanting more, not out of greed, but out of the natural human desire to evolve and reach new heights. The pursuit of passion becoming the driving force that propels us forward, while the ability to control our future and avoid distractions gives us the power to chart our own course. Each of these principles feeds into the next, creating a powerful cycle of growth, learning, and fulfillment. But the real key is this: you have the power to shape your life. The future is not a distant reality. It's a series of moments you can control and direct. Now, it's time for action. What steps will you take today to break free from stagnation, conquer your fears, and start building the life you want? The journey isn't easy, but it's worth every step. Don't wait for change to happen. Create it. Start now. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, be sure to follow me on social media to stay up to date with my journey.